the Ardbeg Black Committee 20th Anniversary Limited Edition Islay Single Malt Scotch Whiskey. But how will it do up against one of the best of the core range, the Ardbeg Uigeadail? Let's find out. Alright, so if you've seen my previous videos, my review of the Ardbeg Black Committee 20th Anniversary Limited Edition, for the sake of brevity, I'm going to call it the Ardbeg Black 46. You know that I absolutely love this whiskey, and it is really showing even better and better as it opened up. But the whiskey is a little bit expensive, and because of its a limited release, it's going to continue to go up. So when a whiskey like this comes out, these yearlies, these one-offs, the big question that comes up is, okay, how does it do against the best of the core range, namely Corryvreckan and Uigeadail? And I already put it up against the Corryvreckan, and it was really close. I like the Corryvreckan just a little bit more than the Ardbeg Black, and the price difference is quite significant. But they were so close in how much I liked them. Which one I preferred could change from day to day. Now, the Uigeadail, I think I'm starting to lean more and more sometimes more towards the Uigeadail because I love that sherry cask notes on it, but sometimes I'm in the mood for a little bit of spice, so I prefer the Corryvreckan. So before I get into these, here are my notes. So the Ardbeg Black Limited Edition 20th Anniversary is aged in Pinot Noir casks. It is non-chill filtered, bottled at 46% alcohol by volume, and sells for anywhere between $130 and $150. The Ardbeg Uigeadail is aged in ex-sherry cask. It is also non-chill filtered, bottled at 54.2% alcohol by volume, and sells for anywhere between $60 and $78 here in the United States. Now, when I am listing prices, there's a lot of variance out there. I'm looking across the United States. I'm looking at averages. Look at some of the larger sellers. So you may find a local whiskey shop near you that doesn't put their inventory online that may sell it for less or may sell it for more. But I've seen some absolutely insane prices out there on the internet. For example, Holiday Wine Cellars is selling the Ardbeg Black Limited Edition for $142, whereas Remedy Liquor has it listed for $230, and Uptown Spirits for $260. However, Uptown Spirits has some confusion going on there because it looks like they are confusing the committee release, which came out in March, with the limited edition, which came out in June, because they have it listed for $260. So Remedy Liquor may have the same errors going on there. When you have people working the website that don't really know the whiskeys, they're not paying attention, plus they use the word committee in the name of the whiskey, it can add to a little confusion. But if you're running a business, you need to pay attention to those details. So just because you see that those really high prices, you know, $200 and up, it may be that the seller has screwed up, all right? So just keep that in mind. Right now, you know, here we are in early June. You shouldn't be paying any more than $150 at this point, but I expect this bottle to quickly rise. And I think it'll be generally over $200 before the end of 2020. All right, let's get into them. All right. Visually, fairly similar. The Ardbeg Black 46 has that golden copper, a little bit of bronze. And the Uigeadail looks fairly similar. I would say that's sort of a classic Ardbeg look to it. You know, they're not adding caramel coloring, and you know, don't have a lot of anything else added to it. It's sort of the standard look. You know, they don't think they have to press someone with super dark whiskeys, but it is a little bit darker than, say, the Ardbeg 10, and definitely than the Wee Beastie 5-year-old. All right, on the nose. You know, with all the peated whiskeys I've been reviewing, I'm finding I love the combination of sherry and peat. There's something magical that just happens there. It provides sort of a third element, really unique confectionery notes, really unique savory notes as well. So right now, the Ardbeg Black 46, the peat is more, and the smoke is more aggressive than the Uigeadail. Now, of course, this Uigeadail has been open for a lot longer. I've got about a third of the bottle right now for the 46. I've got it a little bit more than half right now. I've been enjoying the whiskey. Now, you might think, why not just, I mean, don't you already know what they taste like? Don't you already smell like? You've already reviewed these. You know, what's the point in doing them side by side? Because it's one thing to have in my head the profile of this whiskey and the profile of this whiskey and compare them in my head and think I know which one I'll prefer, which one I think is best. But there's something, a completely different learning experience when you actually put them in front of you and go between them back and forth. That how you think you might be smelling and tasting and preferring them in your head might be quite different than when you actually put them out in front of you. So, chocolates, there's a saltiness, there's a nuttiness, the caramels, there is a little bit of that red fruit character. However, one thing I'm experiencing is as I'm getting further into it, on the Black 46, smoke, chocolate, and salty sea breeze is becoming a little bit more aggressive, and those red jammy notes are actually becoming less and less noticeable. Don't know why, it's just the way it is. Perhaps they're getting more integrated, perhaps the smoke is getting more integrated, and so the smoke is in certain peat perhaps is starting to sort of become a little bit more overbearing or overriding the more delicate red fruit notes. But they're still there. I've noticed one thing in terms of the red fruit notes. If you put your nose too far into the glass, you'll get most of the smoke, the chocolate, and the salt. If you back off actually a little bit more than, you know, get in like this, I find the red jammy notes actually sort of separate themselves and become more apparent away from the glass. So I'm actually sort of putting my nose up to it and then pull back and see how I experience the red fruit notes. So the red jam is still there, the caramels, the chocolate, a lot of a salty sea breeze, a little bit of a nuttiness, almost a peanut butter note, dark chocolate, and some vanilla. The Uigeadail. I think one other thing that happens is, and I've had this happen with wines as well, when you really stick your nose in there, you may be sort of overwhelming your senses, you know, so it's kind of like something being too loud in your ear. So if you kind of pull away, go back, pull away, go back, to let sort of refresh your nose a little bit, to get a fresh approach back into the whiskey. But the one thing that's really, really apparent about the Uigeadail is that sherry notes, the fig, the dates, and the raisins, those black fruit notes, black dried fruit notes. And the caramels are there, the chocolate, salty sea breeze. But I would say, you know, if we're talking about intensity of smoke on the nose, I would take the black, and let's say put it at a 10, and the Uigeadail, in terms of intensity of the smoke, right now is about a 7, at about a 7. So it's not quite as intense, and the sherry notes are really showing themselves really, really well. All right, on the palate. Wow. So funny, I was saying that I thought the jammy notes were sort of reducing on the nose, but now on the palate, there's a red wine, there's a wine note. I mean, I'm not just talking about jam, I'm talking wine notes. There's a red wine note showing up. And it's more of a wine note than just sort of a red fruit jammy note that I picked up in previous reviews. And I know my wines. If you know me, you know I know my wines. And the distinctive wine character is showing up. I don't have a bottle, but if I had a bottle of the Longrow Red Pinot Noir, I would like to put that up against this, but I don't have a bottle. Might have to see if I can find one. So on the palate, the nose is confirmed. Smoke is becoming more integrated. It has a real nice evolution. Get the red fruit up front. It evolves into the chocolate, that saltiness, the caramels, the vanilla, and the smoke, and the peatiness. but there's also a little bit more of an earthy note character to the peat. Also, right about in the mid palate as it transitions into the finish, it's a minor note. It's not like the Wee Beastie or say like a Lagavulin 8, that super youth note, but there's just a hint of this youth note as you transition from the mid palate into the finish. But it's an absolutely superb whiskey. All right, let's have a little bit of water. The Uigeadail. Wow. One more? All right. The sherry is saying, hello, hello, I have sherry notes. So, fig, dates, raisins up front. There's sort of a chocolate-covered raisin note. Caramels, the saltiness. It doesn't have the nuttiness of the Ardbeg Black. In the middle, you get the vanillas, the saltiness. The peat and the smoke is really interwoven really well. And what finishes is the fig, dates, raisins, caramels, dark chocolates. I would say the Ardbeg Black is a little bit more like a milk chocolate and has a medium to medium plus length finish. I think the Corryvreckan, because it has that distinctive spice note, has a stronger distinctive character that really makes it stand out and distinct and grab your attention when putting it side by side with the Ardbeg Black. On its own, I might prefer the Uigeadail because I'm becoming more and more of a sherry fan. But when going side by side and looking for a strength, something that really stands out and grabs your attention, I'm finding the Ardbeg Black is much more of an attention grabber than the Uigeadail. I'm finding it has more development, more variation, and more complexity, whereas the Uigeadail, as much as I love the Uigeadail, doesn't have as many individual distinctive notes, particularly going through the transition. What I'm getting is the dried black fruit notes, some chocolates and caramels, and the saltiness, and a really nice interwoven smoke. Now, don't get me wrong, these are both absolutely spectacular whiskeys that, point-wise, I would go really close. But from my view, I think the Ardbeg Black 46 has a slight edge of an advantage up against the Uigeadail. I am preferring it. So I'm going to go 93 points with the Ardbeg Black 46. I'm going to go probably 91, 92 with the Uigeadail. Again, absolutely spectacular whiskeys. And really, in terms of a value to how much you're spending on it, that is really the big challenge here because, and availability, right? Affordability and availability, the Uigeadail wins on both of those hands down. So, I'm going to say, if you can't find an Ardbeg Black 46 and you have a bottle of the Uigeadail and you love the Uigeadail, I would say you're not really missing out. You have an absolutely spectacular whiskey that you can be happy with, or if you have the Corryvreckan. Both of those are just phenomenal whiskeys. But I would say the Ardbeg Black has a slight advantage with a little bit more complexity, more development, and more of an attention grabber in the profile, right? But again, these are absolutely spectacular. If I was going to have 2 drams for the night, I would probably start with the Uigeadail, enjoy that one, and then switch to the Ardbeg Black, because I think even with having water in between them, the Uigeadail is a little bit challenged with competing up against the Ardbeg Black in what still remains in the follow-through from the Ardbeg Black, even after drinking water. But anyway, still absolutely spectacular whiskeys. I wish they had a core range that was something like the Ardbeg Black that was under $100, and readily available. That would be what we would want. That would be absolutely fantastic. So, alrighty, I want to thank my Patreons for joining my little group and supporting the channel. If you like my reviews and you've not already subscribed, I'm going to ask that you subscribe. Ring the bell to be notified when I post a new video or when I go live. And until next time, cheers. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and check out these other whiskey videos.